All right. Spacecraft. Go to the moon. Uh, let's name our craft. I gotta think of a different, kind of a different name because I don't want to interfere with my other moon craft I got built. But anyway, let's call this Mooncraft video. What? Okay. Okay, Mooncraft video. Now, you see, I got a lot more parts than other people currently have, so I'm only going to try to use the limited parts that you may have. So, we'll start out with the basic command module, and we're going to need, obviously, a parachute on this command module to get our Kerbal safely back home. Now, under controls, depending on what you got unlocked, you should have this one unlocked for sure. I don't think you'll have this other stuff unlocked yet, so I won't put it on, just this one. Okay, so we got that. Now we need our science technology, because you got to do your science, obviously. So we'll slap that on there. Now, it depends on how many trips you want to do to the moon. I did several trips to the moon just because more practice for me, and messed up and crashed my Kerbal, so he's had to be rescued. But anyway, this is a one-time thing. It's a one-time use item. So once you use it, it's done. You can't use it again. So if you want to use it more than once, you need more than one of them. But it's going to weigh down your ship because it does carry more weight. It only carries 0.2, but it gives you a 0.2 drag. So it slows down your ship and stuff like that too. So right now I'm just going to put one on. I'm definitely going to put two of these on because when I go up there, I open one of these in orbit and then I open one on the moon surface. And that's the only reason why you would want two of the other things on there, is to open one in orbit and open one on the moon surface. But you'll find the first moon you go to, you'll end up having to go to it more than one time. So, and then you're going to need communication. So we'll put that on there. The rest of the science gear you probably don't have yet, so I will not add any of that on there. Also, going back to controls, mech jab. We need mech jab. Now I suggest probably 2 mech jabs just so you have enough power. You know, I mean, my modded mech jab version. Whoops, I put 4 on there. Anyway, my modded mech jab version will have enough power with one, but you never know how long you stay out there, so we'll put 2. Okay. So that's our basic science that we have. Now Now we gotta put the fuel tanks on, which we're gonna use that fuel tank right there, which is the FLT 400. I attempted to use the FLT 200, which has 110, and I ran out of fuel so fast. So, well, let's save this because I want to check out my prototype build that I did. Because this is basically what I'm building. Oh, no, wrong one. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So I end up putting 2 small tanks on and then 2 small tanks, which one of those big fuel ones would work. So we'll do one big fuel one. Let's find our craft. There it is. Okay, so we'll do one big fuel tank, and then your engine. You want the VL 909. You want that engine on. Now, oops, one thing we are forgetting, and that is our decoupler. Need our decoupler, then that fuel tank and engine. So basically, that's a start. Now we need to put another decoupler, because right there, that fuel tank and engine is what's going to get you home. And now, to make sure we have enough fuel to land and everything, hopefully, we'll put another one of these fuel tanks on, plus another one of these engines. And we'll also go into our utilities and we'll add landing gears, in which I put 6 just because, you know, the moon, that first moon you go to is so unstable that maybe that will help you stable your rocket better. But that's basically your rocket that you'll have to land on the moon. We got too many of those satellite things. We only need one communication. There we go. Now you got your hatch so your Kerbal can get out. You got your fuel tank to go home with your engine, and you got your fuel tank and engine to land on the moon. So there you go. There's your spacecraft. Now we got to get this thing to the moon. So now we need to build the parts to do so. So we'll add our discoupler, and this is going to be tall, so let's move our rocket up, way up. Okay, this section we're going to need a lot of gas, so we'll do we can do one of these fuel tanks, but first of all Let me save this. Let me load our model that we were referenced to. Let's see, I think it was that one there. Make sure. Yep. This is a reference model. Okay, so this section right here is what we're building next. So we got a large one, a small one, and another small one, and then an engine. And then let me take that off. Then we go 2 larges and then thruster. Okay. So now we're gonna go back to our video craft. Okay, so let's bring this one in, and then we got a small one and another one. And the reason why you want to put the little one down here and a little one, well, we don't have to put a little one up there. I have it up there for extra fuel tank, but you want to put a little one down here so this engine will not overheat. Now, what's the difference between the VLT45 and the VLT30? The VLT30 has 215 max thrust, but it burns a lot more fuel. Burns 6.157, where the other one burns 5.7, and it has less thrust. I like the 200 one. It costs more, but it burns less fuel at a slower pace, which we need the fuel. So I like that one. So that's the engine I prefer to use, is the VLT45 liquid fuel in this stage of the game. Okay, now we need to go back to and put a disruptor. Now this engine, this fuel right here in engine, is what we're going to use to project ourselves to the moon and hopefully establish some sort of orbit on the moon or around the moon if you have enough fuel. Now we need to build the massive rocket to get us out in orbit around Kerbal, which this is going to use a lot of fuel. So we'll put 2 of these, obviously, plus our little one for overheat issues. We'll put the 200 thrust engine on, and then this is something that I experimented with, which worked fairly well, is I went and put a decoupler here and an engine there, and basically that a solid burn engine. There's our centerpiece. That is our total centerpiece built. Now we need to make our solid engine burners, which, let me save this. Now this one, okay, we can't put this, it's too small. We can't put a lot of sections on there, so, and I think I'm using the wrong one. Yeah, there we go. Now we might be able to get away with that. But with the solid section on there, you want it in the middle. Okay, so you want to kind of get it the best you can right about there. Okay. Now we got to put our solid rockets, which is the BACC solid fuel boosters. And that is not going to work. See how clumped up they are? It's not going to be good. So I obviously did not use that many. I think I went with that number. Like that. Yeah, that's a lot better. Notice how I adjusted my video screen so I can see how to line this up. And I kind of want it down, but you know, I don't want it too far down. I think we do need to move this down because I want it sitting right there, just like that. So we need to move these down to accommodate where I want to place the solids. There we go. Maybe a little bit higher. And there's a reason why I'm placing the solids this way, is because I'm going to go and put these things on, and then I'm going to add another solid. Oh, trying to get it on there. It's a pain. There we go. That way it looks like that. Now we'll take your aerodynamic and slap your aerodynamic on and see how nicely that one is. Okay, now to speed up time, and this will save time on a lot of your rocket builds. You get to building, it gets pretty hard. So what we're gonna do is I have to navigate my camera in here to where I can grab a hold of a brace. See that brace in there? I want to grab that brace so I take the whole rocket, you know, the whole rocket build off. And then I'll drop it over here, and where it says assembly drop zone, you click on that, and then you can save just that section. Okay, now I got it saved right there. Now the reason why I saved that section is so you can duplicate it. So you click on it, and you already got it, and you already got the placing, and it's the whole thing, you know. Then you can bring it down here, and it'll have all the mounts, everything. And then we can click on it again, and we can put it just like that. And you see how we're building, we're kind of building outwards, but see how my rockets are kind of off? Okay, we do not like it like that. So, oh, what the frick? I think I'm holding down too many buttons and moving my shit around. Okay, we definitely got to get better lined up. So, let's click on that again. that's more square. Yeah, if you do not get it lined up perfectly straight, your rocket will spin when it's lifting off. And we're going to go and put 3 sets of these on. So it would look like that. And there you go. Now, if you hold down Shift, you can move the whole thing down all at once, just like that, by scrolling your mouse wheel. Kind of get it real close to the ground. Nice and neat. Now we got to stabilize this thing, because this thing flying up with this much power, it's going to be shaky. And this is where these things come involved. These EAS-4 structure braces, pretty much. So what you want to get in here, you want to angle your camera so you're on the inside, and then attach. You only need one, and make sure it's copying all the rockets all the way around. And then you'll need to do that on every section. Like so. And then we got to come back over here, and just to be safe, I always do it again on this side. That way it's a little bit, yeah, it costs you more money in your rocket build, but it's a little bit more structurally sound. Okay, and then I come down here and I try to get in here as best I can for this, which is hard to do. And I'll put one down here too for these little things. And this one I won't double up on them. I'll just put one. That way it stabilizes the bottom as well. And I make sure that it went through on everything. Now I'll come back up here, and since this thing is really super tall, it's kind of nice to stabilize when you're using the solid fuel boosters, and it helps steer the rocket. Well, it helps keep the rocket going straight. Is I'll add these, I'll kick them on the top and stream them upwards as high as I can get them, because they'll disappear. You know, if you get up way too high, you can't reach that far. And that's an engine, so I don't want it on the engine placing itself, so I'll put it on the tank. And then I'll do that on every rocket outward. That way it stays, you know, it stays stable each time. That way you're supporting your height as well. Now you should have this, so we'll add these. Boom. And our rocket is pretty well done as far as the build goes. Now we got to get our flight order straightened out, which to start out, let's just hit reset. That way it gives some sort of lineup. Okay, parachute, bust, engine. Okay, bust off, engine, right. Bust off that section, engine, and that section, engine down at the bottom. Okay, solid boosters. Yeah, this is going to be a mess. Finding all these solid boosters is a pain in the butt. But you got to find all your solid boosters, and you got to make sure that you get See that center one? It's lit up right there. It's way up here. But you bring it down here. So you got, and we don't want these to go off individually. We want these to go off together. So we got 15, 16, 17, 18. And count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I think we're missing 1. Let's find the 1. I think I found it right there, that center one. Bring it down here. Now we want all these to burn together, and we want this down here. Now we got to find all the decouplers that decouple all these. This is where the time consuming can be, because if you miss one, it's going to screw up everything. Now this, I'm going to put these outside sets, which those 5, 1, 5, 1. I'm going to put those outside sets together, and I'm also going to put the decouplers together, and then we'll have these 6 on the inside burned separate to give it just a little bit more height, you know, and the decouplers. So what it's going to do is we're going to bust all these off first after they're done burning. Then we're going to burn these on the outside, these 2 sets on the outside all the way around. And then we're going to burn, after they bust off, then we'll burn the inside. And after they're done, then we'll go to our liquid fuel. Hopefully I got it lined up correctly. And we'll save it. And there you go. Give it a test run. Good luck.